Hey y'all, welcome back. It's been a little chaotic in the last little bit. Life has just been stressful and I haven't done anything. So I'm trying to dive back into vlogging so I can get back in the habit and get used to like balancing this with other things. But yeah, just like a heads up, things are a little chaotic right now. I have a lot of projects I'm trying to work on, both like personal projects but also like school stuff, and the last few weeks were very stressful. So I'm getting my shit together is what I am trying to say. But this week I'm hoping to do a lot of reading because I am really in the reading mood and I'm trying to find a way to balance that with the schoolwork I'm doing. So we're gonna be working on that this week. But I am excited to say that since I last vlogged, I did finish The Blade itself. I actually finished this several days ago. I'm so excited to finally be done with this. I loved this. I think I gave it 4.5 instead of 5 stars because there were a few perspectives that I think they're setting up things in the next book, but it made them feel a little out of place here. And one of them, Pharaoh, feels a little bit underdeveloped, and I would like to have seen more from her. I think she kind of gets the short end of the stick here, where like we get lots of like long travel sections for some of the other characters, but then she has a travel thing going on and she's just like suddenly at her destination. So I really would have liked to see more of her, but I am curious to see how all of the perspectives are going to work in the next book, because they are now in some very different places. And I like the way that this feels like a chess game where like the characters are the pieces on the board and they only can see their own like individual pathways and they don't have the bigger picture. And then I think the reader can see the board, but we can't see who's playing. And so I like that vibe from this book, and I'm looking forward to reading book 2. But I am taking a little break from it from now because I don't feel like diving into another grimdark fantasy at the moment because I have a lot of stuff going on. So with that being said, I'm kind of focusing right now on reading books that are kind of like mindless and fun, because I don't really want to have to focus that hard on anything since I'm going to be doing a lot of reading for school as well. So that being said, I am still working on Guardian, still really enjoying this. I haven't made it very much further than I was the last time I vlogged. I think I've made like 5 more pages, but I am going to be focusing on this week because I am really enjoying it, and I think this is like the perfect kind of just fun, easy to read book that for the like free time that I have right now. At the same time, I've also started, picked up my Kindle and that's not going to help at all. I also started The Raven King by Nora Sakavic, which is the second book in the, what's it called, All for the Game trilogy. And it's just equally as ridiculous as the first book. This is one I'm reading for the entertainment of my friends. I'm reading it, explaining it to them. And I'm only like 1 chapter in right now, but this series is just like very silly and over the top. And you can clearly tell that Nora Sakavic did like 0 research on anything before putting it in this book, because nothing in this book works as it should in the real world. Like psychology and psychiatry doesn't work like that. University doesn't work like that. The criminal justice system doesn't work like that. Like nothing in this series makes any sense at all, but it is like fun for me to like read it and tell my friends about it because they want to know but they don't want to read it, and we're having a good time with that. So like I'm reading it for that, and it is kind of another good like mindless book I can just kind of read, and I don't really have to think about it that hard, because like why am I gonna think about it when the author didn't, you know? So those are the kind of like my 2 main personal reads. I do also have one other book I'm gonna read this afternoon, which I need to grab. Hang on. I'm gonna be reading The Merchant of Venice this afternoon. So I've got to do my drop-in office hour, but when that's done, I'm gonna like buckle down and read this. This will be like my 3rd or 4th read of this, so it's gonna be fairly quick for me. It's a, you know, it's a story I know fairly well, so I can kind of pay attention to the things that I need for class and do some annotating based on that. But other than that, this should be a fairly fast read, so I'm gonna be doing that this afternoon. I just got an email saying that I got approved for an arc of System Collapse. I'm so freaking excited. Oh my god. I wasn't expecting that at all. I requested it just kind of on a whim because I love the Murderbot books, and I was not expecting to actually get it, especially because I got like several other things approved or like wished for items granted in the last little bit, and so my ratio tanked recently. It went from being like pretty close to 80% to like around 50-ish%, and I still got a proof for it, and I'm just so freaking excited. I've got to figure out how to work that into October because I need to read that like ASAP. It's gonna be so good. I already know it's gonna be fantastic. It is like following on from Network Effect. It's a kind of direct sequel to the previous like full Murderbot novel, and yeah, I need to get to it ASAP, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to work that into like my October plans or something, because I don't think I'm gonna get to it this month, because I still need to finish Snow Crash for school, but like I want to read it before it comes out, so I'll read it in October. It'll be fun. But I'm so excited I got that. I was not expecting that, and my day has just like improved dramatically. Not that it was a bad day, it was actually a pretty good day, but like now it's even better. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to reading. I am currently reading The Merchant of Venice and making a ton of notes so that I can start working on my midterm project, because I think I'm probably going to end up doing it on The Merchant of Venice just because I'm much more familiar with it, and I've been like really stressing this, and if I do the project on a text I'm familiar with, it's going to be less stressful, I think. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to that, but I just needed to like check in and squeal about that for a minute because I'm so freaking excited, and I wasn't expecting that at all. So just like a really nice little bonus to my day. Took me quite a bit longer than I was anticipating, but I have finished my reread of The Merchant of Venice, and I'm feeling pretty good about words are hard. I'm feeling pretty good about my decision to focus on this for my midterm, because I do have some thoughts having read this again. There's some things that stuck out to me this time that I didn't think about before. In particular, I'm really interested in how much this idea of like evil having a fair face is a thing in here. And then also, the extent to which, like, Portia, I think, acts as kind of the center of reason in this, where, or at the very least the way that Portia's reason, her, like, capacity for reason is central to what's going on here, particularly in, like, the game around marrying her, which I think is very odd, but I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. I'm very tired, so please bear with me. If you haven't read this before, there's this whole thing where there's this woman named Portia, and her father died, and in his will there was this whole thing about how there's a test and you have like 3 caskets you have to choose from, so anybody who wants to marry her has to choose from one of these caskets, and if they choose wrong, they can't marry her, and there's like some other stipulations as well. But whoever chooses the right casket automatically gets to marry her, whether or not she wants them to. And so throughout the book, for the first like 3 acts, you're kind of seeing this process unfolding as people are coming to court her, and they're choosing caskets, and they're choosing like the wrong casket at various points. But what I think is really interesting is this is set up to essentially say that like her father knew better than she did what was good for her. He was a good man and a reasonable man, and so this test that he set up will surely find the right husband for her. But what's interesting is very early on in the play, she and her maid are talking, and they both mention this guy, Bassanio is one of the other main characters. And they talk about how they see him as being particularly worthy. Like, not only is he attractive, but he's like a good man, and he's particularly worthy of marrying someone like Portia. And it's pretty clear that Portia wants Bassanio to like show up and do this test. And what I find very interesting about that is, spoiler warning if you don't want spoilers for Merchant of Venice, but like multiple hundreds of year old play, so I'm sorry, but Bassanio does actually come and win. He chooses the correct casket and he gets to marry Portia. But I think it's really interesting that Portia, by her own logic and reasoning and standards for what she wants for her life, would choose Bassanio, who is ultimately proven by the casket test to be the best husband for Portia, or to be somebody worthy of marrying her. So I think there's this interesting layer where Portia is treated as being particularly reasonable and thoughtful and like kind of in command of things in a way that creates some interesting tension with ideas around like the passions from early modern like thought. This is something we've been talking about in my class, which is like the passions versus reason and humoral theory and those kinds of things of like early modern ways of theorizing about how emotions worked, how people's kind of temperaments and characters were made up, things like that. But there's this tendency for women to be associated with like irrationality, and I think it's interesting that Portia is maybe like the most like thoughtful, rational person in the play, but that her like ability to reason is also like fully supported by her own like choice of husband also being the person proven by her father's test to be the best choice of husband. So there's just this like interesting layer with Portia that I really am wanting to dig more into, and I think I might end up doing something like with that for my project. I don't know if any of what I just said made sense because I'm very tired. It's like 10:30, 10:40. Oh, it's even later than I thought. It's almost 11 o'clock. That took me from about 4 o'clock to about 11 o'clock, including time that I took to like go downstairs and cook dinner with my mom. So like not solid time. But yeah, that took me quite a bit to get through, but I really enjoyed rereading it, and I really enjoyed listening to the audiobook again. I think the audiobook is really good. So it was a good time, and I feel like I have some things to think about now in terms of what I want to do for my project. But instead of thinking about them, I'm actually just gonna go to bed because I've got to get up and go to class tomorrow morning, but I should have some time tomorrow afternoon to work on the project, or at least kind of get things started in terms of planning, because I only have my undergrad class that I'm TIing for to go to, and then work. So I should have some afternoon time tomorrow. Well, I totally didn't update at all. Hello? My Fitbit is going off. My 8 o'clock alarm. It's first thing in the morning on Wednesday, but I totally didn't update at all yesterday. I left work yesterday, full intentions of being productive when I got home, and instead, by the time I got home, I had a massive headache. I think I just had some eye strain. I spent a pretty significant amount of time yesterday just working on this like one task. It was looking at a spreadsheet and like finding a name, finding a specific document I needed, taking that document, merging it with a different document. I did that for several hours yesterday, and my eyes were feeling really tired, and then I ended up with a headache. So got home, didn't do shit yesterday because I did not feel good, and we're accepting that. It was a rest day, it was a recovery day. I got home and I took medicine, and that headache refused to go away. It actually didn't go away until about the time I was going to bed. So I ended up just sitting down to read. So I did actually make a good chunk of reading progress yesterday, because I am nearing the halfway point of The Raven King. So I was on like page 7 or 12 or something like that yesterday when I started, and I finished off my evening at like 1:47. So I went from like 6% of the book to, I think my Kindle is telling me 43%, something like that. I'm checking it right now because it's sitting here. Yeah, page 147, which is 43% of the book. And hi, Pumpkin. Pumpkin has just come up to bump me. This is a weird experience. I think this whole series is just bizarre because it's like a mafia crime story mixed with a sports drama mixed with a romance, and by being all of these genres, it is somehow none of these genres, because it doesn't fall into any of the like conventions or expected kind of structures of any of them, and it just is doing its own thing, which makes it very weird, but also makes the pacing very strange. And I think that the first book is one of those where you feel like nothing is happening, but then like so much is happening, getting all this new information, and that book, the first book, is just leading up to like their first game. This one, I feel like, should be leading up to the first game with this like rival team that they're particularly scared of. This is setting up a rivalry with a group called the Ravens, which is a team that one of the members of the Foxes used to be on, or was supposed to be on, and then he left to become a Fox instead. And it's setting up this rivalry, which is like backed up with, and also the Yakuza are involved. So that's happening. But it feels like this whole book should be like leading up to that next big important game, and I don't think it is, because I think it's about to happen at like the 50% mark. So I really don't know what to expect from this, because again, it's just like, in being all of these different genres, it's just none of them, and I really don't know where this is going at all. But this first half has been very strange because it does feel like so much is happening and nothing is happening. I think this one more so than the first book though, because sometimes we're just getting like repeated information, or we're not really getting anything that's like new and like alters the way we understand the world or the characters. It's just like here's like more detail on things we already kind of knew. My battery's flashing, so I'm gonna have to talk fast. Basically, we're just not getting a whole lot of new information. What I am liking is that there's like lots of these like very sweet character moments of the main character Neil having to kind of deal with his paranoia and getting used to like the idea that people care about him and that there's people he can rely on. And I think it's doing some interesting things with that. I just think it's getting drowned out by all the bullshit that's happening for every other page of the story. I've got to show you the fangies. Hey, Elwood. Hey, Elwood. Yeah, you got your fangies out, don't you? Yeah. He moved. Now he's in my seat. But I put this blanket out for him whenever I'm not sitting there because he loves it. But, like, he's so cute. He's like, quit bothering me. I'm trying to nap. Hello. It's Friday. And I'm stressed. I spent all of yesterday working on homework reading for Monday, and I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm on the 5th of 6 articles. I had to give up because I was like reading and not taking in any information anymore. But it's like, I'm on the 5th of 6 articles. I just have like half of this article and one more to read tomorrow. Then I'll work on my midterm. It'll all be good. Then I had a full-on breakdown because I went and looked at my notebook and realized that there was a 7th article I had forgotten about because it wasn't one that was a PDF online. It's actually in the back of this. And furthermore, it's 60 pages long, and it's the ones that I've been hating, that we've been reading the last few weeks, that are just like a million excerpts from other things. And yeah, it's been a bad time. I don't enjoy reading those. I think that, like, I get why they're included, but they're so long. Rather than it feeling like a selection of relevant things, it feels like they're like, here's one thing, and then here's another, and here's another, and here's another, and here's like 50 examples that are just getting across like the same piece of information. So I'm hating reading these, and I lost it yesterday because I was like, I'm so fucking tired of reading these, and I thought I was so close to done, and I am so far from done because I have like another 80 or so pages, probably closer to 100 pages left to read, and I thought I was down to like 40. So anyway, very frustrating day yesterday, and I've got to spend the rest of today finishing up that. I'm currently charging my iPad because I'm using it to read the articles because I like being able to annotate on it. So I'm currently charging that, and then I'll obviously need to read the upsetting one in this book. But before I get to those, I do have a video to edit. It's a very short one, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that because it's for tomorrow and it needs to go up, so it needs to get edited. So I'm gonna do that. Before all of that though, I got book mail, so we're gonna open that because that'll cheer me up a little bit. And I'm excited this showed up because I wasn't expecting it to actually show up today because the tracking stopped updating. So I assumed it was like, you know, in the void between UPS and the post office. But in fact, it showed up. So very exciting, a nice little surprise for my day. And I'm really excited about this book. I think it's gonna be really fun. So this is The Death I Gave Him by MX Liu, which is even more bright and obnoxious than I thought it was going to be, and I love everything about this cover. So I love these like really bright orange and pink, or not orange and pink, yellow and pink, green yellow-ish and pink covers. I love things that are neon and obnoxious and like, you know, just eye-bleedingly bright. I love it. I actually want to make a sweater that is just like this, but in sweater format. But this one I'm so excited about is a Hamlet retelling, but it's a sci-fi locked room murder mystery, and I think that sounds like it's gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited for this book. I'm thinking I need to reread Hamlet just because I haven't read it in a while and I'd like to be able to like get the references, but I'm just so excited about this book. I've been eagerly anticipating this all year. This was one of my most anticipated releases of the year, and it is finally here, and I'm just absolutely thrilled. So it was a nice little bonus to my day that like, I'm frustrated, I'm stressed, but I did get to open this. So nice little pick me up for the middle of the day. This has not been a very heavy reading vlog. It's been a weird week. It's been a week with 2 full-on meltdowns on my part from school stuff. Just this midterm is stressing me the fuck out. Although I think I am moving towards kind of figuring it out. But it's actually Saturday. Mom and I went and got some brunch. And I think I'm going to maybe start thinking about rearranging my office a little bit. And this is gonna move. I'm gonna like rotate everything and make some changes so I can not stop having like light glare on my TV screen. So that's that. But currently I'm working on finishing up some reading from Monday. I'm on the last like 2 pages of the article I'm currently reading, and then I have one more to read that's in my copy of The Merchant of Venice. So I'm gonna read a little bit more of that. It's this right here, this article was the source of that meltdown. But it's fine, I'm gonna get through it today. It's all gonna be good. And actually the weather is really nice, so we've opened the windows, we turned off the AC and opened all the windows. And I've got like just a little fan running, so sorry if you can hear that in the background. But like it's so nice out today, and I'm in a much better mood, having like had a good breakfast and some time to talk to my mom and actually figure out some things that I think I'm gonna make some changes to my kind of plans going forward as I'm finishing up this last year of my program. So I'm just feeling very relieved today. We've got nice weather, got some fresh air coming into my office, I'm making some progress on this reading, and I'm just feeling very relieved. That is the word for the day, relieved. But I'm kind of planning to finish that up, and then if I have some time this evening, if I get that done, I'm wanting to read some more because this is actually the weekend of the Lair readathon for Jan Agaton's Patreon, which I just joined, and I'm having a blast. I really like the Discord community that she's built. Everyone in there is like so nice, and it's just very fun to be a part of that community. But this is the weekend that we're doing the readathon, and the theme this time was series, so I'm hoping to do some reading for that. Because it actually works really well for me because I'm reading several things that are series. So I want to finish The Raven King because I've got about half of that left, and it's a very quick read, so I feel like that's doable. And then if I get some time at any point, I would also like to go ahead and read Mammoths at the Gates, because that was a pre-order I just got, and it's the 4th book in the Singing Hills cycle, and I'm so excited for it. I've been hearing so many good things, and a lot of people that I've seen who like the series anyway have been saying that this is their favorite installment. So like, I really want to read it. It sounds like it's going to be fantastic, and I know I love these books. So that's kind of the plans for this weekend, is I'd like to read those 2 things. If I can get to them, we'll see how things go, because I do have a lot of work still to do. I've got to finish this reading and then work on my midterm, but I'm feeling like things are moving in a positive direction, so I'm hopeful I can find some time for that. For now, I'm going to go finish this reading and hang out with my little cat. I'll have to see if I can get a video of Pumpkin here, see if I can get down next to him without freaking him out. Sometimes he gives me the crazy eyes if I do this, but he's hanging out. Oh, there he is. He's a sweet boy. I think Elwood's somewhere looking out a window. He loves when the windows are open because he likes being able to like look out and like smell the outdoors. So anyway, I'm gonna hang out with these boys and get some more homework done, and I will hopefully have some time for some reading this evening. Please ignore my hair doing a silly thing. It is very early on Sunday morning, but I was excited because my mom bought me a pen organizer. I was talking to her yesterday because I have just like a million pens that never get used because they're sitting in a drawer somewhere because I have so many of them, and I want to use them more because I like writing by hand. And I was talking to her, she ordered me the pin thing I was wanting because she found it in my wish list. So I'm very excited about this. It's a very silly thing to be like all about, but like I'm very excited. So I started putting stuff in it already, but it's one of these like kind of tall ones with like a bunch of different pockets. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of my pins in it. I'm so excited. I'm gonna have my pins actually like out and available where I can use them. Then I'm gonna go fix my hair because it is very much bothering me. But yeah, just had to share because I'm very excited about this pin organizer. Such a silly thing, and I've got to find where it's gonna sit. But it's gonna be exciting to have my pins out where I can actually use them. Just got back from a Target trip with my mom, which was very nice. I was doing the thing of like sitting at my desk looking at things, being stressed out and not making progress. So when she texted me, I was like, hey, I'm going to Target, do you want to go? I was like, yeah, I want to go. So went to Target and I finally started the process of replacing all of my holey shirts. I have a bunch of shirts that have holes in them right near the bottom hem, and it's because I bought them several years ago. And this was most of my wardrobe, but they're shirts that I bought several years ago and I was wearing when I was working at the job I was doing full-time for a few years between undergrad and starting this grad program. And it just so happened that the desk that I sat at that job hit at the same spot where the button on the front of all of my jeans is, which I wear jeans like every day. And that was a bad decision because I continued wearing jeans. I didn't work in like a really formal office setting, so I was fine to do that. But it rubbed holes in all of my jeans because the button of my jeans was hitting the desk and just rubbing holes in all of my shirts. Did I say jeans? I meant shirts. So like half the shirts I own have big holes in the front, and I've just been like putting off replacing them because I love a lot of them. They're very comfortable, they're very soft, and I finally was like, it's time. So when we went today, I picked up like 7 new shirts. They have this one style that I just have one of that I really like that I got more recently, that's like a knit ribbing kind of fabric, and it's really soft and comfortable and they fit really nicely, and I had one and I just loved it, and I wanted like a million more of them in different colors, and so that's what I got today. Was I found they had them both in short sleeve and long sleeve now. Since we're heading into the fall, they also have the long sleeves out. I bought like a bunch of those, and I bought like 3 pairs of jeans that are all the same but in different shades of blue. And yeah, so it was one of those. I'm a strong proponent of the find something you like, buy it in 12 colors philosophy, because it makes it really easy to get dressed in the morning when all you have to do is just like grab one of a variation of colors. So anyway, had a little Target haul. I would show it to you, but I've actually already started putting everything in the wash because I want to be able to wear those this week. But I was very excited that they had them and that they had several different colors my size. It was very exciting. But also, the other thing I've done is I read a little bit more of The Raven King because I was getting frustrated and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop looking at this computer screen and read for a few minutes. And I'm not too much further. I think I've read like maybe 10% max. I think it was a little bit less than that, but I'm at the halfway point and I'm very confused because the event that I thought was going to be the end of this book, that I thought we were building towards, has now happened. And I don't know where this is gonna go from here, because I think they spent a lot of time in the first part of the book talking about how they're gonna have to face the ravens in October, and it feels like that's like what it's building to, but now I'm halfway and they face the ravens, and so that bit's already happened. So I just have no idea where this story is going to go. I don't know what it has left to have happen. And there's not any like clear threads that give me a sense of what's gonna happen next. So it's just a very strange structure. I feel like the series is always just kind of weird because it's like trying to do 3 different genres, but it's not following the conventions of any of those genres. So you just don't know where it's gonna go at any given point. But yeah, I got through that and I'm just like very confused. Also, we got a little bit more information about something from Andrew's backstory. Somebody has shown up from his past and there is something going on there. So there's kind of a new little like mystery to unravel, although I'm pretty sure I know what the mystery is. But there's like a new little piece of Andrew's backstory that the other characters are now kind of finding out about. So interested to see where that goes. But yeah, it's just such a weird series, and while I'm enjoying it, it's very much like, I'm not enjoying it because it's good, I'm enjoying it because it's wildly ridiculous and entertaining. It's just full of bullshit is what it is, and that's kind of where I'm getting the enjoyment out of it. But I haven't gotten much further and I probably won't finish it tonight, but I've at least made a little bit more progress. The rest of today is really just gonna be figuring out this midterm thing, and then if I can get enough done, I might chat with a friend this evening. But yeah, that being said, I'm pretty much just gonna spend the rest of the day being hopefully productive. I'm doing some laundry as well, so I'm gonna be doing like that kind of thing, and that's pretty much gonna be it. So I think I'm actually going to leave this vlog here. I know this is probably a short one because I didn't do a whole lot this week, but I think I'm gonna leave it here and just try and focus on getting some work done this evening. But I know this has been probably a pretty short and mostly non-reading vlog, But regardless, I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, I hope you'll consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribing to what comes next. I'm currently posting every Tuesday and Saturday, so there's more content coming soon, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.